Have you ever stood in front of your closet and felt invisible? Like the world decided you've had your turn to shine, and now it's time to fade quietly into beige. As if a rulebook you never wrote is suddenly dictating what you can and cannot wear. You pause, you sigh, you put it back. Maybe you looked at your favorite blouse, the one you used to love, and a small voice whispered, "Does this still suit me?" That isn't doubt, my dear. That's conditioning. The kind that teaches women to play small. For decades, we've been told what's appropriate for our age. But what if everything you've been told about dressing your age was wrong? Because the very myths holding women back are actually the keys to unlocking your most confident, elegant self. Today, we're not just bending those rules. We're tearing up the old rulebook for good. Because confidence doesn't have an age. It has a style. So, if you're ready to trade outdated myths for timeless elegance and renewed confidence, let's begin. It all starts with color, doesn't it? The language of confidence. Over the years, so many of us have watched our closets slowly become a safe sea of beige, grey, and navy. It's as if there's an unwritten rule that says the joy of vibrant color is reserved only for the young. We begin to shy away from the brighter shades, worried we might be seen as trying too hard. And you know, it's not just in our heads. A 2022 survey from AARP found that over 60% of women over 55 said they avoid bright colors for that very reason. But isn't it interesting that in many other cultures, it's the complete opposite? In places like India or Mexico, older women embrace the most brilliant colors as a symbol of wisdom and a life well lived. It seems it's only in our modern Western world that we've somehow equated neutrals with acting our age. And speaking of timeless essentials, let's talk about denim. The truth is, some of our greatest style icons like Diane Keaton and Jane Fonda have shown us time and again that denim isn't about youth, it's about a free spirit. For the longest time, many of us gave up on jeans simply because the market forgot about us. Thankfully, brands are finally catching on, designing fits that honor our figures with comfort and style. So, it's time we make a pact with ourselves. Your closet should be a palette of joy, not a uniform of invisibility. The wonderful Iris Apfel once said, "Color can raise the dead." And she lived that truth well past 100, wearing magnificent layers of turquoise and crimson that the world admired. She wasn't using color to look younger. She was using it to tell the story of her incredible life. And it's not just a feeling. It's color psychology. Studies show that simply wearing warm colors, like a beautiful red or a sunny orange, can actually trigger the parts of our brains associated with positive emotions. Sometimes, all it takes is a lovely silk scarf to lift your entire day. So, where do we begin? The golden rule is simple. Think balance. One beautiful, bold color paired with a classic neutral. One statement piece, one simple silhouette. If you're feeling hesitant, start small. Perhaps with a pair of a lovely ruby red flats, or a handbag in a stunning cobalt blue. Think of adding color with the seasons. A whisper of blush pink or mint green in the spring. A rich burgundy or olive in the fall. And once you feel ready to play with color again, let your fabrics do the talking. And denim is the ultimate statement of effortless freedom. The secret to elevating jeans is to treat them as a beautiful blank canvas. Add a classic leather belt, a silk scarf tied at the neck, or a simple string of pearls. Instantly, the jeans are no longer just casual. They're the foundation for true elegance. So I'd love to hear from you. If you could bring back one color you loved wearing in your 30s, what would it be? What color would you choose to reawaken your spirit today? Please share it with all of us in the comments below. And once we learn to embrace color, to understand that denim can celebrate who we are right now, it leads us to an even deeper myth. One that isn't about the clothes we put on our bodies, but about the bodies themselves. And once we learn to embrace color, to understand that denim can celebrate who we are right now, it naturally leads us to something even deeper. A myth that doesn't just touch what we wear, but how we see ourselves. If you've ever adjusted your clothes before stepping out the door, not out of comfort, but out of concern for how you might be seen, you're not alone. A study from Refinery29 found that 65% of women over 60 have changed how they dress simply to avoid being stared at. It's the myth that causes so many of us to walk out the door wearing a kind of invisible armor. Layers of fabric and fear. A quiet defense against the gaze of others, but one that also dims our own light. For decades, the stories we were told by magazines and movies suggested that beauty belongs only to youth. They forgot to mention that true elegance is found in wisdom, in a life well lived, in the stories our laugh lines tell. I once had a conversation with a lovely woman in her 70s, and she told me, "I stopped wearing sleeveless dresses when I was 55. When I asked her why, she whispered, "I just didn't want anyone to notice my arms." But the truth is, no one was noticing her arms. They were noticing her radiant smile. And it made me realize we all have a sleeveless dress tucked away somewhere. Something we once loved, then quietly retired because we thought we had outgrown it. But maybe it was never about outgrowing the dress. Maybe it was about outgrowing the fear. Perhaps no one embodies this spirit more than the magnificent Dame Judi Dench. Well into her 80s, she graces the red carpet with her beautiful silver hair and that unmistakable sparkle of mischief. She once said, "I don't think age has got anything to do with it. Just wear what you feel comfortable in." It's a reminder that comfort isn't about giving up. It's about showing up fully as yourself. So you see, style isn't about hiding. It's about beautifully highlighting what makes you, you. Instead of covering more, let's try revealing wisely. Think of your body as a work of art, illuminated by the right light, not hidden behind heavy curtains. You don't hide a masterpiece. You simply choose the most beautiful light to display it in. With your hair, let's shift the focus from length to health and shape. A lovely shoulder-grazing bob, or a lob, is wonderfully flattering because it frames the face so gracefully without a lot of fuss. With your clothes, a 3/4 sleeve draws the eye to a delicate wrist, a perfect place for a favorite bracelet. A lovely boat neck or V-neck creates a beautiful frame for your face and a necklace you cherish. If you could send a message to your body today, what would you want it to hear? Maybe it's a quiet "thank you for the journey," or a tender "I'm sorry for ever doubting you." Because every line, every curve, every change is proof that you've lived. And that, in itself, is breathtaking. Because when we learn to be kind to our bodies, fashion is no longer an obligation. It becomes a reflection of our inner joy. And that, my dears, is the real secret. The one that age can never ever touch, because grace never grows old. So, the real secret to timeless style isn't written in any rulebook. It's written in how you feel when you see yourself in the mirror. The only fashion rule you ever need to follow is this: if it makes you feel beautiful, confident, and joyful, wear it. Because at the end of the day, fashion isn't about age. It's about joy, the kind that shines through every smile, every step, every season of your life. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What is one outdated rule you're ready to let go of? Or maybe one you've already broken with pride? Share your story in the comments below, and let's inspire one another. And if this conversation resonated with you, and you'd love to be part of a space where style has no age limit, consider subscribing and joining our growing community of radiant, confident women. There's so much more beauty to discover together. Thank you for spending your time with me today. It truly means so much. Until next time, stay radiant, stay curious, and keep rewriting the rules, one outfit at a time.